Hey guys, John here from Bring the SEO. Today I'm going to share with you a question that one of the members in the group asked recently. Greg, and this is all to do with clients going directly to staff. Greg asked the question, John, I've had one of my staff tell me a client of ours contacted her directly asking for help. Do you have any thoughts on this, suggestions, advice on how best to handle it? Now, I thought this was a great question because this is something that I've experienced myself, and I've seen this happen to other SEO consultants where they're working with a bunch of clients, and for whatever reason, they have one or two clients that think they can bypass everything and go straight to one of the staff members. Like I said, I've experienced this firsthand, and in my case, it turned out to be an absolute nightmare. For whatever reason, I agreed to it. I had a client at the time, who said to me, John, maybe it's just easier that I work directly with Darren, my web developer at the time. This might make things easier for you. It might speed up the process. And I thought to myself, okay, sure, this shouldn't be a problem. Needless to say, this turned out to be an absolute nightmare because I essentially ended up in the middle between Darren, my web developer, and Kevin, the client. And it was just this never-ending back and forth between me trying to respond and answer the client's questions, as well as pacify and, my web developer, because he was losing his mind. In the end, I learned a very valuable lesson. And this is one of the first things I've got on my list here under advice. You should always keep clients away from staff. Always assign a single point of contact. In my case, I like to have account managers who just speak directly to the client, and then they relay those messages through to the team. If you don't have an account manager, maybe you're doing the communications yourself like I did for many years. You can do that as well. In any case, keep your clients and your staff separate. Don't ever give your clients direct access to your staff, because this is what can happen as a result. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and I think this is always worth doing, you should always go back and thank your staff member for being loyal. Okay, let's face it, it'd be really easy for one of your staff to say, hey, I can make a bit of money on the side here. Thankfully, in this case, for Greg's agency, staff member came back and was honest. So that's a great thing. Now, for me, and we all discussed this, right, in a group call, we all agreed this is a good thing, right? It should be rewarded. So the best way to reward it, you can do a whole bunch of different things, but I think a great way of saying thanks to the staff member is to maybe send them a $50 or $100 Amazon gift card. The next point that I'll share with you is how to go about saying no when a client asks, right? Sometimes they won't just go to a staff member, they'll ask you directly, hey, John, can we just contact Kate and get her to help us with this content directly? Now, instead of just saying a flat no and having a really awkward and uncomfortable conversation, I found the best way to do this, and I use this strategy pretty much right across the board for many different purposes. But the best way I found to say no is to say, listen, we'd love to do that for you. Unfortunately, we just can't. We've tried it in the past and it just got really messy and it caused no end of problems. So unfortunately, we can't. That right there is a great way of saying no without being making it awkward and uncomfortable. Okay, the last point I will say is this: don't act in anger. Don't send a really angry email to your client. Don't jump on a Zoom call and abuse anyone. Sometimes you might find that a staff will actually do the work. I think it's really important also to consider, especially for larger agencies, I'm sure they do this anyway, using legal documentation, confidentiality agreements, non-disclosures, non-competes, anything that ensures that your staff aren't going to start, working directly with your clients. That's probably a topic for someone with certainly a lot more legal knowledge than I have, but it's probably something to consider. I think the most important point is to not act in anger. It can be really easy to get fired up and think, oh, this is bullshit. I'm going to send this person a really nasty email and, give them a piece of my mind. that's probably not a good idea. If it makes you feel better, type out the email, then save it in drafts, sleep on it overnight, and have a read of it the following day. Okay, guys, so that's it. Just to recap, those 4 points. Thank your staff member for being loyal. Keep your staff separate from clients. Say no tactfully. And don't act in anger, okay? And think about using legal documents if necessary, only if you think it's necessary when you're onboarding staff, to ensure that you're not going to find yourself out of business because you've got a staff member that's been poaching clients. Okay, that's it from me. Hope you found this one useful. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Hey, if you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to learn more, head over to bringtheseo.com. We provide business development training for SEO consultants wanting to improve their processes, increase profits, and scale to $100,000 a month or more without all the stress and overwhelm.